I think I tweeted something about ideas coming out from sometimes feeling about coming from outside of you sometimes. So you mentioned as you meditate, you notice these ideas come in. So thoughts, ideas, how did that connect to consciousness?
So the thing I was responding to that you wrote, um, I think I was partly picking up on the part of you that would really get a lot out of a meditation retreat. That was my way of
Yes,
beginning that conversation.
yes.
Um, that experience you had of a thought coming from somewhere else, when you spend an extended period of time paying close attention to your moment to moment experience, that's how all of your thoughts appear to you. And
Why is
it's
that?
really beautiful because you're letting go just through the practice of meditation, you're quieting down your default mode network, and without necessarily intellectually thinking yourself out of free will, it naturally kind of drops away. And so when you're under the spell of this illusion that you are the author of your thoughts and your conscious experience is driving all of your behavior, and there's this I that stands somewhere near your brain but is not your brain, that stands free of the physical world, is the thing generating the thoughts. um, when you're meditating, that quiets down and can kind of quiet down completely so that your experience is just of the next thing arising in your conscious awareness.
But
And
the
so
source of that is still this brain.
what you realize is the source of it is not your conscious experience. And that's the important insight. And that's the insight. And so there are many insights you can have in meditation that align with the science, which is what's really fascinating, because it doesn't have to be that way. Like, I can imagine finding meditation to be extremely useful and helping me with anxiety and all the rest, and having all kinds of insights that turn out to not be true. But the interesting thing is that these insights actually turn out to be true. And so that is one of them, is the when you're just watching what your conscious experience actually is, you realize that it's not doing all of the things you usually feel like it's doing. And so the thoughts really just arise in much the same way that a sound or a sight or a feeling, maybe your leg starts to hurt. When you're just watching moment by moment by moment, pain arises, a bird chirping arises, a thought arises, a feeling arises. You're just kind of watching it all unfold.
I
And there's
mean,
something really beautiful about that.
yeah, it's the perspective you could take on is there's a connectedness to the entirety of the universe, like
Yeah.
to nature in
And
general.
that there's something so beautiful about consciousness, about the fact that it's not just a dead universe with atoms doing their thing, that at least in this one instance, there is a felt experience of
Mhm.
the universe.
Of the universe. It's not even an
Because I'm
individual
part
thing.
of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a right here in this little point in space and time, there is an experience of the universe.
But it's still interesting to think about where those ideas, if those ideas are solely a construction of the brain, or is there some kind of mechanism
Mm,
of joint collective intelligence of humans as social organisms, where those
mm,
like how much of it is me training my neural network and the ideas of tens of thousands of other people, and
mm.
how much is it
You're
myself?
talking like in terms of psychic phenomena, or you're talking in terms of just absorbing the information of the past and education and
Well,
just kind of the
uh,
collective human
I,
project that
I
gets in throughout our lives
I don't
as
know
we're
much
learning.
about psychic phenomena, but I also want to be open minded in the way we speak about collective intelligence, because it's very easy to simplify it to it's a neural network trained on knowledge developed over generations and so on. It does feel like intelligence is stored in some kind of distributed fashion. across humans. Like if you take one out, I think that intelligence quickly goes down.
I don't know how quickly it goes down if you just take one out. It depends on which one. I think I half agree and half disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing you notice when you spend a lot of time in meditation and when you spend a lot of time kind of shaking up these intuitions that I think get in the way of clearly thinking about what consciousness um, is that we are these systems in nature that are not at all isolated. And there are the obvious ways, like if I just stop drinking water, that's going to change the system very drastically, right? So there's just, the energy consumption, but the fact that we exchange ideas is we part of who I am is everyone I've interacted with. And of course, the people I interact more with have sculpted me more, but our brains are sculpted through our interactions with each other as well.
Yes, but I wonder if it's a more correct and useful perspective to take that those interactions are the organisms. Like you're saying you're still making the brain the primary. There could be like that the brain is what it is because of the social interactions, and the social interactions are the living organism. Like that's a weird perspective because it's so much more.
I don't actually think it's one or the other.
They're both.
Yeah.
They're both living.
Yeah.
It's like cats and dogs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit like, I have 2 children, and a lot of people with 2 children will say, like, when you're preparing to have the second one and soon after you've had the second one, that having 2 is kind of like having 3, because you are nourishing and protecting and overseeing each individual life. But then there's the sibling relationship, which is almost another thing.
Yeah, it's weird.